What's up, gang? Welcome back to another reaction and breakdown video. Today we're going to look at something I shot a couple of weeks ago that has got 30k views, but more importantly is the shares and the saves, which means that you guys out there on the internet have been learning from this clip. Now, I don't often reveal the methods when I'm performing. In fact, my limitation when performing this from point of view is I do not want to reveal the method too easily to people who are viewing it. I do my best to maintain the magic so that the viewer and the participant can both experience that feeling. This is very important. However, it is not possible to do certain sleight of hand effects from a point of view without revealing it, and I chose to share this in an impromptu moment with this guy. We're going to do a reaction to it. We're going to break it down afterwards, and I hope you enjoy.
Sergio, we're going to try something using perspective, because the thing is, both of our perspectives are completely different, but both of those realities represent our true selves. Now, listen, I could do this again, slowly but surely, but the reality is what I'm seeing and what you're seeing are completely different. I don't know what's better, the magic or the method. What do you think? On 3, 2, and all the way through. Kind of cool. But look, if I try to get this back on this ring finger whilst throwing it at you, of course, I don't want to hit you with it. That would be rude. You can take it and check it out. It's always back on the ring finger. But I want to show you. So give me a hand for a second. And what we're going to try, right about here, if you don't mind. There we go. Oh, sorry, a little bit higher if you don't mind, right about there. If we take the ring and we put it on your finger and it flows all the way down your wrist to your shoulder. Did you feel it?
Oh,
appreciate you, brother. I'll give that to you. I told you it's always on the finger. Nice to meet you, bro. We'll catch you soon. Cheers. You too. Sergio, we're going to try.
Wow, what a feast for the eyes. And let's see, how's this one done on the stats?
Something using
insights. So 360 saves. 360 people on Instagram with my humble channel at the beginning of its growth, and they have saved it to learn from later. So if you do want to learn the moves behind this, I suggest just watching the video and you're going to figure it out yourselves. I'm no absolute master at this stuff, but I have pieced this routine together myself from a collection of things I've learned throughout my time as a magician. And I shared it in the moment to this guy. So let's watch it back and break it down.
Sergio, we're going to try something using perspective, because the thing is,
I know his name because I was performing for another group and he noticed the magic was happening. And I had a friend with me, and the friend chatted with him and said, stick around and he'll share a trick with you. And then I did. I walked straight over, and oftentimes when I've done my things, I need a moment to reset and reorganize some pockets depending on what I've been doing. And in this moment, I just had no choice but to jump straight into a performance with this guy with little to no preparation. So I went into an impromptu performance. I had brought my ring with me on this particular day. And I learned his name, shook his hand, said hello, began the early 2 phases of this routine. And then right where I was standing, apparently that was the only pathway that these guys with big wheels, boxes, stuff from the opera house, they were across the cobblestones, and they found one of these little straight line pieces of concrete. They needed to use that. So I made a bit of a giggle about it, but fair enough. And I had to step away, and then I stepped back and I said, you know what, let's start that again. Boom. Hit record, and then this is what we captured. So really no earlier interaction other than this, but sometimes we have to start again, and it was worth it because this capture is beautiful. Now, the particular thing I want to focus on, of course, the magic is fun to learn from, but this guy's reaction, like, he is teleported back to that time where he has nothing to worry about in his life. He becomes a young boy again instantly. And to me, the magic is the interaction. Yeah, I say this on the channel. I'm not here to teach you the tricks. The tricks are the mechanisms and the methods that allow the deception to take place. Whereas the magic is the human interaction, is the nuanced behaviors, the subtleties, the things that we can do to truly connect with another human being, in this case, a complete stranger out here on the streets at one of the world's finest tourist destinations. So he is beaming. I have fully placed him in a state of wonder.
both of our perspectives are completely different, but both of those realities represent our true selves. Now, listen.
I also have no idea what I am going to say in terms of my patter. I just kind of had this idea that perspective was important because I knew you, the viewer, were going to get one perspective from the camera in my Ray-Bans. And this guy is going to get the perspectives that my work was intended for, a visual treat for him to follow as a classic magical piece. I don't do too many classic visual magical pieces these days. So it's a real joy to share it with something as simple as an everyday ring, and just to see the levels of, how do we say it, how mystified you can make someone with something as simple, like the raw roots of our art form. No mentalism, no fancy gadgets, no too layered, detailed descriptions and methods. This is just raw sleight of hand and hopefully a decent script. Let me know what you think.
I could do this again, slowly but surely, but the reality is what I'm seeing and what you're seeing are completely different. I don't know what's better.
I'm not sure why the audio cuts out on occasion. I've only had it on 2 or 3 clips, but whatever. Subtitles are there. We're good.
The magic or the method? What do you think? On 3, 2, and all the way through.
And that's a good question. What is better, the magic or the method? Now, I have this analogy that I like to share when I'm breaking down methods, because oftentimes when we buy a magic trick and we find the method itself, there can be an element of disappointment. I know I've certainly spent hard-earned cash on routines, performances, gimmicks in the past, and I've opened up the box to find out that, oh, I've got 2 cards and a couple of magnets and some sticky tape, and this just cost me $100. Yeah, it can be like that, right? Whereas the reality is, true art, it should be just as magnificent, if not more, when you begin to learn about the details. And in case you didn't know, the M in magic stands for mastery. So by leaning into mastering a particular discipline, we really do begin to extract the magic from that, and also build an understanding of the levels and the depths that everybody else's discipline of mastery unveils as they dive deeper. Whether you're a photographer or a ballet dancer, whatever it is, the deeper you go, there is more to find. And the author Henry Miller said, even a blade of grass becomes a magnificent world when you give it the right attention. So yes, imagine the method and the magic like a watch. The watch tells the time, and to tell the time is a magical thing. However, we can take apart the watch and we can see the intricate gears, the cogs, the springs, the rubies, all balanced in perfect, refined harmony to generate the illusion of telling the time. What do you prefer, the magic or the method?
Cool. But look, if I try to get this back on this ring finger whilst throwing it at you, of course I...
Now, this move is one of my favorites. So I learned this from a guy called David J. He was a cowboy hat wearing guy who did sleeving and all sorts. I think he was on Penn and Teller season 1, though he rejected to have his piece shared because they burned the method and he was selling this as a product. So he didn't want the method out there. But anyway, the guy's awesome. I mean, he's got a contentious backstory. I'll leave you to Google that one. But he was awesome at the sleights. So I learned this move, and we would have it on the palm, and in a quick whip, you would land it on your ring finger using the gravity and the weight of the ring. It's actually quite easy to do if you put it in classic palm position, exactly where your finger goes. And in the process of throwing it, you can have it land straight back on your finger. Now, that was always cool, but I felt like just doing it in real time, sure, it's good. And I would turn my hand over as I would do it, so it looked like I could just place the ring on my hand in an instant. Though to turn it into this was my idea. I'm not saying this is truly unique. No ideas are original. But the idea of turning it sideways and throwing the ring at my spectator and then catching it on the finger, I think it's a fun dynamic to play with. It's something that implies risk, that you've thrown something towards them and you've caught it when perhaps you couldn't have. Anyway, let's keep rolling.
I don't want to hit you with it. That would be rude. You can take it and check it out. It's always back on the ring finger.
See, look, I'm flowing so quickly through all of these bits that I'm not even waiting really for the reaction, but he is so in the pocket with me. He is so present in this impromptu moment of play that his hand gestures and his eyes and his face, they are like, he's like putty in my hand, and we are in this rhythmic dance. So I don't need to wait the normal beats that I might in an interaction. I'm just going through the show, and he is fully with us every beat of the way. And you can just, yeah, his face.
But I want to show you, so give me a hand for a second, and what we're going to try, right about here, if you don't mind, there we go, oh sorry, a little bit higher if you don't mind, right about there. If we take the ring and we put...
Okay, so in that moment, I'm stalling deliberately, act as if I'm a little bit confused and I'm reassessing. I'm just purely doing this as a form of misdirection so that I can get it on his shoulder, which we can see here. So rather than doing it in the first beat, I'm like, oh, actually, anyway, maybe I could iron this out and make it smoother. However, this particular piece of misdirection has always worked for me, and switching gears in that way, it just allows for the natural space for this moment to happen. Now, he's glowing already. We haven't even vanished it yet, but pulling it and then pretending to place it on the ring finger. So there are definitely a few places I can recommend if you want to learn this properly from the creators. There was a piece called Divorce by Justin Miller via Illusionist 10, 12 years ago, something like this. And that was an amazing combination of ring magic, some of which makes its way here. There's also a piece by Peter McKinnon before he switched fully into being a YouTuber video guy. I mean, mad success and respect to him. I think it was called Pantheon. And that's the particular vanish I do at the start, where we go to place it on the first finger and it ends up clipped behind the thumb. So that with some David J work and the rest. This coin on the shoulder, I'm not entirely sure who to give props for. I know that this is an old concept. And if you look at Apollo Robbins' TED Talk, one of the best TED Talks of all time. I mean, I've seen a lot of magicians do TED Talks, and to be honest, it's usually a lot of pseudoscience and yap. And I don't know how it makes its way through the TED gateway for them to treat it as real science. Anyway, that's a chat for another time, but Apollo Robbins really does the stuff and he demonstrates it beautifully. If you haven't seen it, please do go and check it out. It's about 9 minutes long and you will not regret it. Definitely took a lot of influence from him in my early days of performing when it came to this sort of thing, misdirection, pickpocketing, kind of that realm. I guess pocketing in this case, we're placing something on someone without them knowing. It's a beautiful moment. The weight of the ring, things I would look out for as I placed it on his shoulder, by lifting his arm slightly higher, we create more of a natural shelf. If you don't do this, there is too much of a curve and the ring will fall off sideways, forwards, backwards, anywhere that you don't want it to be. By lifting the hand that little bit higher, we do end up with a little bit more of a level playing field. And also the backpack, the material on the backpack has far less friction for the ring than the t-shirt does. So I will always do my best to place it in the safest place possible within the realms of possibility, given that I'm not looking at where I'm putting it. I'm purely doing this by touch. I don't want to draw attention to what's going on. So anyway, just a little bit of a thought process there. I do prefer to do this with a ring than a coin as well. The coin can equally fall off easily, but there's a little bit more weight in the ring that I use. And I feel that it just, it sits there nice and easy. And if he wasn't wearing a black t-shirt, as you look around, it would pop even more against the contrast of what he's wearing. Oh, excuse me.
There. If we take the ring and we put it on your finger and it flows all the way down your wrist to your shoulder, did you feel it?
Oh,
appreciate you, brother. I'll give that to you. I told you it's always on the finger. Nice to meet you, bro. We'll catch you soon. Cheers. You too.
Wow. All of that. He is never going to forget it. I don't know if I gave him a business card or not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if my friend before we met had given my Instagram. I haven't heard from him and I hadn't seen a comment from a Sergio that made me think it was him. Though he's been popular. I think we're like 30K views here and on YouTube, maybe it's 30, 40, 50. I haven't looked, but it's been a popular clip. Definitely not worldwide viral status, but you can tell by the shares and the saves that this is a magic lover's dream. So I hope you've gained a lot, not just from the nuanced moves that I'm using and the way I've chosen to sequence this routine together to give it bang, 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 bam, flow, flow, flow. We want it to hit. Sometimes the magic can be slow building towards a big crescendo. On this occasion, it is tantalizing all the way through until we finally get this moment on the shoulder. It's huge. And then I've got that nice little final moment where it's back on the finger before shaking his hand, just as a nice little mwah, mic drop, Salt Bay, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, that's my breakdown to this little interaction, which is video number 64 out of my mission to capture 1,000 real moments of magic. I hope you've enjoyed and got some value from this. If you'd like to learn more from me, feel free to comment below. You know what to do. I'm building this channel, so any support you can give, I much appreciate that. And I am also offering Fix Your Tricks consultation sessions at the cheapest that they're ever going to be at the moment. So if you want to jump on a 45-minute call with me where we can either analyze your own magic or you can learn the actual methods behind some of the performances that I share on my channels, then hit me up. You know how to do that, and it would be good to connect with you and help this magic spread. All right, gang, until next time, I'll be back soon with another reaction and breakdown. Keep the magic alive. Peace.